Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Power Automate Desktop Training Tutorial. My name is Vishal Bamblani, and in our session today, we will continue to learn the variable actions provided by Power Automate Desktop. Variable actions that will be covered in this session are sort list, reverse list, remove duplicate items from it, and finally, stuffing the list. Let's start with our first action, which is sort list. As the name suggests, it sorts the items of a list provided the items are of the same type. For example, it can be a list of text, it can be a list of numbers, or dates, or files in a folder, or folders in a folder, etc. So it contains a number of properties like list to sort, and second is sort by list item properties. Once we enable this option, so just to highlight, it is a toggle button. So once we enable it, there are multiple properties which open up. Let's see how we can make use of this action and its properties in Power Automate Desktop. So first, let's create a new list with action create new list. Drag and drop this action. Let's give it a name, sample list. Right. Now let's add some items to it. Let's drag and drop this action. Add item. Let's give it the first item as January in the list, sample list. You can save. Now let me copy paste. We'll add 4 items. So first is January, second is February, third is March, and fourth is April. Now let's first run this flow and see what is the order in which these items are added. Okay, so we'll check this list. As you can see, it is January, February, March, and April, the order in which we added it. Now let's sort it using sort list action. Drag and drop. So first property is list to sort. Select. So first, let us keep this disabled. Click on save. Let's run this. Let me open this. Now, as you can see, our first item is April, second Feb, then third January, and fourth is March. So basically, it sorted this list in ascending order. Now let's make use of our second property, which is sort by list items properties. Let me enable this. Now, as you can see, there are multiple more properties that are open for us. Now, given that this list is a list of text, we have one property called length, and let's sort this list in descending order now based on the number of characters each item in this list has. Let me save this. Now let's run this flow and see what is the new change it brings out. Okay, so I've opened this. Now, as you can see, February has more number of characters than January, then March, and then April. Based on the number of characters each item has, it has sorted the list in descending order. Now you must be wondering how to find these properties, right? Given that it is a text, we have length and multiple more properties. But what if we have another type of list, which I have mentioned, like list of mail messages, list of files in a folders, or list of folders in a folders, etc. I have given a link in the video's description. You can refer to it. Now let's try to reverse the items in this list using reverse list action. So basically, it helps us to reverse the order of the items in a list. So it includes properties like list to reverse, wherein we have to specify the list to order the items. Let's make use of this action in Power Automate Desktop. So under Actions pane, search for reverse, drag and drop this action, reverse list, and we just have to specify the list variable and save. Now, just before running this flow, let me show you our list first. So it's February, January, March, and April. Now let's see what this reverse list action brings out. Let me run this flow. I've opened this for you. Now, as you can see, April was the last item which we saw earlier. Now that has become the first one. April, then March, Jan, and Feb. So basically, it has reversed the order. Let's close this. Now, what if we have some duplicates in our list and our job is to remove those duplicates just so to make our list have unique items? So for this, we have an action called remove duplicate items from list. So this action basically helps us to remove the multiple occurrences of items in a list so that in the resulting list, each item will be unique. It has two properties. First is list to remove duplicate items from. So here we have to specify the list variable. And second is ignore text case while searching for the duplicate items. So here you have to specify whether to perform case sensitive comparison of text while searching for duplicate items. Now this particular property, it applies to lists made of text items. Now let's see how we can implement this in Power Automate Desktop. But first, let me disable these two actions and let's add some duplicates. Here, let me add January. And then here, let's add March. Or let me make this capital MS small. Let's see if it makes some difference or not. And here, let's search for remove duplicate items from list, drag and drop this action. Let me select the list for us and click on save. Now, please notice that here we are not enabling this option, which is to ignore the test case while searching for the duplicate items. Let me save this and run the flow. Once the execution is complete, we'll check our sample list variable. So it contains January, February, March, April, and March. Now, you must be wondering, since March and March are same, it still hasn't removed it. But the difference between these two is in the first March, M is capital, and in the second one, M is small. Now let's close it. And under this action, let's enable this and see what change it brings out. Let's run this flow again. So now it's January, February, March, and April. I hope you have understood the difference between enabling this option and disabling this option. Now let's try to create some random order of the items in this list using shuffle list action. So basically it helps us to create a random permutation of the list. So the properties include list to shuffle, wherein we have to specify the list variable. Let's see how to implement this in Power Automate Desktop. Here, let me disable this action. Let's search for shuffle list, drag and drop this action. Let me select the list for you all. Click on save. Now, before running this flow, let me open the sample list wherein we'll check the order in which it is currently present. So it's January, February, March, and April. Let's click on close. Now let's see what difference this action brings out. Please notice we have here two duplicates as well. Let's run this flow. Under flow variables, let me open the sample list. Now, as you can see, the first permutation it created is April, January, February, March, January. Now let me close it and run this flow again. I've opened this list again. Now you can see the difference. Initially, it started with April, and now it's January, March, April, March, February. So you must be noticing the difference the first time we ran this flow and the second time we ran this flow. So basically, this particular action, it created a random permutation of these lists items. So this marks the end of our module. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would request you all to subscribe my channel for more videos. Also, I have listed down some suggested videos as well as the ones next in line for your ease. Cheers.